and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is the week 30, July the 19th through the 25th weekly wrap up, and obviously I'm still here. So yeah, so last week I said goodbye, but it actually wasn't goodbye. It was an experiment, and some of you guys passed. Hand claps to those that did. And for those that failed, thank you for all the data that you provided me. Like, seriously. You really proved my point with last week's video, with the title, with the thumbnail, with my teasers that I threw out there, all of that. You guys just proved my point that YouTube is kind of fucked up in its algorithm. Like, seriously. So if you don't know, if this is your very first video watching, hello, how you doing? Where you been? Because I put out videos 3 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and every Sunday I give a wrap up. And, you know, I have a different kind of a style when it comes to wrap-ups. So, last week I did a little bit of an experiment by saying goodbye, and some of you felt manipulated. Sorry for that. It wasn't done on purpose. It was done for a good reason. It was done to prove a point. Because that video got so many more views than one of my regularly scheduled videos that it was just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. The algorithm, or maybe you guys as watchers are more interested in a clickbait title, clickbait thumbnail, what have you, than things that are consistent. So that tip that I put out on Thursday about being consistent, this is where that plays in. It really doesn't matter if you're completely consistent to your numbers and everything like that, but it's all good. It's all good. I may or may not put out the video explaining in depth the experiment that I did last week, but you know, regardless. What else happened last week? So yeah, if you haven't figured that out, this is the lifestyle portion of my weekly wrap-up videos that I do. Oh yeah, kind of exposed myself a little bit over on India's channel when we did a Friday read. So if you have not watched that, make sure you go over to India's channel. Check that out. It's Life is a Page Turner. I will leave the link down in the description box so you can go check it out. It's 3 hours of amazing fun with Bree, who we convinced to come back for a live show, India from Life is a Page Turner, and Charles from Books on Stereo. We have a good time every time we're together, and we're going to be doing that more often, I think, as long as we can continue to convince India to read books and actually finish them, and pretty much Charles the same. Yeah, so good times there. Lots of things said, information given. And my kid did summer camp last week. He's doing summer camp this week too, which is really, really interesting because I was real leery about letting him to go to summer camp because of COVID. I mean, like, seriously. But it's been okay. It's been okay. He wears his mask, he takes his lunch, he takes his own water bottles, all that good stuff. And, you know, he's enjoying himself. He gets him out of the house. But it also allows me, from that experiment, to be on a break and really, you know, pre-film things and edit them and schedule them. Yeah, y'all gonna see pre-film stuff for like the next couple weeks, because that was another point to the experiment. If you hadn't gotten that far in the video to find out that what I was actually doing it for, it was so that I could get a break. I needed a break. And like I said to many of the people that have confronted me about that video, I needed a break. It was for my mental health. I was, you know, feeling really in my feelings But the one thing that will not happen, because I have quite a few years under my belt and know how to deal with my mental health and know what I need to do. I just pre-filmed a whole bunch of stuff. Gonna continue to put you guys, give you guys content and things like that. But at the same time, I needed a break to not feel pressure and feel stressed about what I was going to be putting out. So I just scheduled that and pre-filmed it and put it out. And I'm now thinking of new and creative things to do. And also filming some things so that I can continue, putting out content and stuff like that. So now that that part's over with, let's get into the books that I read last week. Because, that's what you're really here for, right? Okay, so I read 8 books last week, and I started the week finishing The Two of Us, Love in Isolation by Kennedy Fox. I place this in New Adult. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 4.25 Steam fans. It was almost there, but it wasn't there. I read this as an ebook for my quarantine project, and this book deals with the coronavirus and its outbreak and everything like that. I do think that it does a really, really good job at finding a good balance of dealing or talking about a situation that is currently happening with giving hope and then, moving on to something good. So, we have Cameron and we have Elijah. Both of them knew each other when they were younger. Cameron is this rich girl and, she's smart, but she's a rich girl and she's slotted to take over the family business and things like that. And she had like this Jekyll and Hyde thing going on that was kind of annoying to me. I was like, I kind of wanted to strangle her at times. And then you have Elijah, who is one of Cameron's family's maids. His mom worked for them, so he would come over to the house and, he became friends with Cameron's brother, Ryan. And so it's a brother's best friend trope going on. Rich girl, not really poor guy, because he ends up doing well for himself. But they end up getting stuck in the cabin that the family owns, and some things end up happening. Some feelings are revealed, and yeah, there's some good stuff that happens in that book. And if you didn't figure this out before, I said that it was a duet. Well, it is a duet, but you don't necessarily, it doesn't leave on a cliffhanger. That's what I was getting at. It does not leave on a cliffhanger. The next book in the series, or in this duet, is about a couple that you meet in this book. So you do need to read this book in order to read the next book to put the pieces together type thing, but you don't have to read the next book if you don't want to follow the next couple, if that makes sense. The next book that I finished was A Gunslinger, the Nighthawk series by Lisa Lang Blakeney. This is a contemporary. I give it 4 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. I read this as an audiobook. I also purchased it because this author is a Black author, and this is the author that Nana Malone has suggested for us to go out and read, because of her brown nipple challenge. If you don't know what the brown nipple challenge is, go over and check out Nana Malone's Instagram, and she explains it all. Also, check out the hashtag brown nipple challenge. So this book follows Sabrina and Saint. Sabrina is a financial manager for like the stars and for like sports people and things like that. She works at a firm. She's really strong, everything. And Saint is the quarterback of a football team. Well, the two of them have a bit of a run-in 2 different times, and then Saint being Saint, part of a family dynasty, is like, oh, I want to get to know her. So the reason this wasn't a full-on 5-star book is because they are super short. It is super short, and it really kind of wraps up really kind of quickly. There's only like one little sex scene, maybe two. But the sexual tension is there, but the actual on-page sex only happens like maybe once or twice. But overall, I was very intrigued by the story and really appreciated it. It was like a quick little good listen, things like that. So the next book that I finished was Wolf, which is the Nighthawk series number 2 by Lisa Lang Blakeney. Places in Contemporary. Give it 4 stars. Give it 2 Steam fans. And I listened to this one on audiobook as well. Still Black author. And yeah. So this one deals with Ursula and Cooper. Ursula is Cooper's personal assistant, and then she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and quit because I don't feel like you value me, type thing. But her sisters and everything like that, she's really kind of secretive about Cooper's life because Cooper is sort of a social media influencer with his football and everything like that. But then he figures out that he's attracted to Ursula and the way that she runs his life. So, you know, that of course turns into love. And then there's some other secrets that are revealed as well. Then we have Diesel, which is Nighthawk series number 3 by Lisa Lang Blakeney, and I placed this one in Contemporary as well. I give it 4 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans. I listened to it as an audiobook, and Black author, Brown Nipple Challenge. This is the actual book for the Brown Nipple Challenge. When Nana Malone announced it, she was like, go read Diesel, and I noticed that it was book number 3 and was like, oh, I'm not getting into that whole, I needed to read the other 2 books first, and then come to find out they were all kind of short books. I was like, I'm gonna go buy them all. Cha-ching, ta-ta-ta-ting. So we have Olivia and we have Mason, and Olivia and Mason have a childhood love that spread over years, but then something breaks them up, and this is you get a brief look at them as they are now, and then you get flashback to when they were kids and how they met and how they ended up falling in love and things like that, and then it moves you to why, you know, they were apart. And I enjoyed it. Once again, another little quick little, you know, romance that has a little bit of steam but not a lot, and, you know, quick fast story. That is probably why I only gave all the books in this series 4 stars, is because they were so quick. But I really enjoyed them. They were really engaging, and I definitely would read more from this author. The next book that I finished was Just Call Me Baby by Hope Ford. I placed this in, it says erotic novella, but I don't know that it was very erotic. It was just, it was a good little novella, right? So I give it 4 stars. I give it 4 Steam fans. I listened to it on the podcast of Read Me Romance. Read Me Romance. And of course, it's a Read Me Romance audiobook, so it's a novella, it's alpha male, it's possessiveness, it's insta-love, sort of? Yeah, insta-love. So we have Owen, who is this CEO, and he's a CEO with his brothers, and he's pent up. So one of his brothers gives him this phone number, and lo and behold, it connects him to Emily. Emily is a college student trying to make her way through college, as well as take care of her family and her sister, who has a unknown medical condition that continues to sort of plague them, has stopped her from doing the things that she loves. So, you know, Emily is trying to make extra money to make sure that she can get her medicine and things like that. So Owen ends up calling Emily one night. She's a horrible sex talker. What do they call them? Phone sex talker. And, you know, he's like instantly intrigued. He's like, what do we have here? This woman intrigues me. And she was instantly intrigued as well. So then, you know, they sort of talk sometimes and some things end up happening, but it was a quick little num-num and I really enjoyed it. Next we have Love's Recipe by Mila Nix. I place this in contemporary. This is a Black author. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 2.5 steam fans because it was almost there, but it wasn't there. I read this as an ARC, however it is live, so you can go out and get it. And this book deals with two single parents. You have Rosalie and you have Nick. Both of them grew up in this Louisiana town. Rosalie ends up running away with her, I could tell from the beginning, douchebag boyfriend, who then becomes her husband. And when things really get bad for them, Rosalie ends up coming back to town. She has a very tumultuous relationship with her mother, and she is just like, I'm out. Peace. Deuces. Not dealing with you anymore. I'm of age. I'm out. So when she has to come back with her tail between her legs and, you know, kind of bite the bullet, that relationship is still tested while she's living back in town in her mom's house with her daughter that's 5 years old. Well, Nick just had a tragedy happen to him and he is feeling down on his luck, but the one thing that keeps him going is his daughter, who happens to be a tomboy and is really sweet, but she's 5 years old as well. So come to find out, Rosalie and Nick have daughters in the same class and they end up becoming best friends. So there's that. And then Nick owns a restaurant that is just not good whatsoever, and Rosalie needs a job because she doesn't want to do the job that her mother wants her to do. So yeah, this is their story of them coming together and the reasons why and how they work it out. You could almost say that it's a just fiction story because their romance is kind of a second seat or second plot line of this, but at the same time they get some juicy, spicy sort of scenes, and the tension between them is really there. So it's really interesting. I would definitely still call this a contemporary romance because all of the elements are there. There is the tension between the family issues, there's the tension between some grief that's going on, there is the issue with the kids and, you know, the family dynamic and everything like that. So yeah, it was a very interesting story and I really kind of appreciated it. So I pushed myself to finish that one, right? And was like, I can't just end my week by only reading, what, 5 books? 6 books? I was like, that would be like a reading slump for me. So I went and I picked up some novellas, right? Some audiobook novellas at that. So I read Epic, which is Him 2.5 by Sarina, Bowen, and Elle. This is a LGBT novella that goes along with Him, that series. So gave this one 3 stars, gave it 1 steam fan. It's an audiobook. It's an Audible original, so you can only get it on Audible, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a quick sort of check-in with Jamie, who is a goalie coach, and Wes, who is a hockey player. They're married, and this is a check-in to what's going on with them now. That's all it is. New opportunities, things like that. And I finished off the week by reading Just the Tip by LJ Shen and Helena Hunting. This is a novella, also a Audible original, and only available on an audiobook or on Audible. I give this one 3 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans though. And like I said, audiobook. This one follows Reggie and Horace. Reggie is an American waitress pretending to be an exchange student, but she's a waitress at this restaurant. She has a whole bunch of shit that ends up happening to her that morning, and then he comes in. He's good looking, but he has like 2 or 3 dates, and then he all of a sudden gets up without leaving her a tip, so he's a douchebag. And when he comes back, they end up having sort of this conversation and end up hooking up, and there are a lot of sexual puns and lines that go along with this. It's completely short. It was only like 2 hours, if that. So yeah. So glad I have Audible Escape for this one. Would have been real mad had I paid for it. So that was the last book that I read last week. As I said, had to jump in and get some novellas in there. So what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Perfect Chaos by Jodi, Elle, and Malpas. And that is because Charles and I convinced India to read this book with us. Now, all 3 of us have our own issues with buddy reads. So for us to be buddy reading this is really funny. Because, yeah, I will probably finish this here probably tomorrow. Because I've already started it and I'm already like 20% in to the audiobook. And Charles is kind of flaky. If you watch our Friday Reads live show, you will know our different dynamics of buddy read thing going on there. But we're buddy reading it, so we have more to talk about on another live show. Yeah. So there's that. And then I have some other projects that I am working on. And like I said, things are already scheduled. So for you guys to have this week to come out, make sure you're interacting with me, because that's a big thing as well. Yes. I received a couple packages in the mail. Don't know what they are. Didn't feel like doing a unboxing video, so figured I would open them up now. I was actually going to do this earlier, but then I forgot. I started chatting and things like that. So I did have a viewer say that they were sending me something. But I don't think that's... Ooh, oh, this sucks. Well, thanks, Amazon, for screwing up my book. But whoever sent me this is amazing. Because, oh, thank you, Lexi. Lexi sent it to me herself. I am super excited. I have been eyeing this series right here by Lexi C. Floss. Ooh. So this one is Royally Bitten. It's the Blood Allegiance series. Yes. Hello. How you doing? Thank you very much. And she sent me a copy of Winter's Arrow, which I loved when I freaking read it. And I have been devouring the series that this sort of goes with, that you don't have to read to understand this one, because this is a standalone, but it's going to make you want to go read the X-Clan series. And yeah! So happy about that! So thank you, Lexi. Oh my goodness. I greatly appreciate it. It is so awesome. So yeah, she says that this one is vampires, and if you know me at all, you know that I am going to be reading this one. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay, and then let's see this package. Let's see who sent me this one. Okie dokie. Oh, Miss Awesome Saucy. What? Yes. Thank you oh so much. She sent me a copy of 40 Love by Olivia Dade. I have been wanting to read this. I cannot wait to read this. This is now going to push me to read this even faster, because I want to put a freaking review out for it. I've heard amazing things about this story, and now I have a physical copy of it, so I can stalk Olivia Dade and, you know, figure out how I can get a name plate for this. But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Love it. Love it. You guys are awesome. So if you're wondering how you can send me things, I have an Amazon wish list down in the description box. I also have my Ko-fi and my PayPal links down there. So if you think this is a good video, or you just want to donate because I'm jobless and you think I do a good job on my videos, you can send me a couple dollars if you can spare them. Don't go broke trying to keep me in, you know, in the money. I know it's hard times. That's not what I'm asking. I appreciate you guys. You guys help me with my equipment to keep it on the upkeep, as well as get new equipment. Hence, the light has changed, as you can see. And that's because you guys donated and I was able to get a new softbox. Alrighty. Have you read any of the books that I have just talked about? Because some of them are super amazing and I think you need to go read them. Let's discuss that down in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you oh so much for sticking around and watching my videos. Playlists, things like that, go to my actual channel and you can find all sorts of amazing videos, recommendations, things like that. I put them in playlists for you guys. As well as if you're on my other socials, make sure that you're checking me out because I have an Instagram series going every Wednesday, and I do unboxings over there a lot on IGTV. And if you're looking to know more about me, that's where you're going to find it, is on IG, because I do personal pictures and videos and things like that over there. I talk about books here, romance books. But I talk about life and romance books over on IG. I think that's it. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you.